Oh, what a night. Welcome to Hearts Standard. I'm Craig Cairns, that is Joe Sked, and we have just watched Hearts beat Omonia Nicosia by 2-0, and and the Hearts fans are definitely enjoying it. Yep, brilliant. Bring on the high bees, he was saying. But before we get to that, we're going to analyse the game that we have just watched. Joe, as we usually do, we can start back at the beginning. There's slightly different team selection, slightly different shape. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I knew the. Well, first of all, I got that wrong because when I put out the pre-match graphic, I thought it was 4-4-2. I assumed it would be 4-4-2 with Vargas and Shankland up front, and I just thought it was a case of like for like swap with the 4 players coming in, 4 players going out, and you knew there was going to be changes. He said it in the build-up. We wanted to preserve. Maintain energy and intensity, and with the derby on Sunday, it was going to happen that he had to make changes. I didn't see the change in form. Didn't see the change in formation where Blair Spittle played more as a number 10. But then you asked him about it after the game, and he actually. I don't know what you thought, but he explained it in really good detail. Mm-hmm. I mean, he didn't go on and on, but it was very concise, very sharp, and he just essentially said that they are. Hello. Their wingers want to push up really high, and essentially they wanted to make it more of a back three. Essentially a back three, and we kind of noticed that where Alan Forrest was staying very wide, and Adam Forrester was bombing up with Kevin Vargas coming in in field a bit. And yeah, when he broke it down and explained it, he's like, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense." So you have to say that. Early signs just on the manager front, very encouraging that is making these tweaks, but it's not like massive changes. There's a solidity to the team, there's a spine to the team. Oh, yes, it's been 2 games, but I think one of the journalists asked him, you made 4 changes, there was a tweak in formation, but the flow and what he would want from the team didn't change. We saw it from the start against St Mirren, and then there, and it was a perfect start. Yeah,
that was going to be one of the next things I asked you actually, because you did ask him about the shape after the game, and he seems to enjoy being asked those questions and given answers to them. It's like, I don't know, I think sometimes managers can be a wee bit like turn their nose up at like tactical questions and those kind of things, but he seemed like he was like speaking on the same level as journalists and that kind of thing. And yeah, like you say, the approach, as we kind of anticipated, the approach was they like the ball, they're maybe not in the most confident mood at the moment, let's get at them. And okay, come to the second half, maybe wasn't that great overall, but well worthy of the win in that first half performance. Yeah, absolutely. And you look at comments pre and post match, what Stell was saying in our preview. I think a few fans were thinking, Omonia can't be as bad as he's making out. I think we saw 80% chance of winning.
But I think everyone saw the concerns he had. It was there, and we talked about how he just wanted to make Tynecastle really difficult, and that's what Neil Critchley wants. He wants to make Tynecastle really difficult for opponents, and that's exactly what we did. And you see Dan Browskis, their manager, come out and say afterwards, just like basically Hearts we just didn't match them with their physicality, their aggression. We knew exactly what they knew what Hearts were going to do, and they just couldn't match that intensity. And I think it's as Stell said, a big jump from playing in the Cypriot League to then playing a British team or Scottish team in their own stadium. And I mean, I can't remember word for word, but the quote we put up, and I think a lot of fans are enjoying, is that Critchley came and said, "This is our house, this is our rules. We want to play our way," and that. Just stuff like that just resonates with fans so much. That's what fans want to come to Tynecastle for. They want to see a team that are an absolute nightmare to play against. The ball going forward when they've got it, and then players chasing after, hunting other opponents when we don't have it. And it was reminiscent. I'll say I'm not getting carried away, but this is just a very small comparison. But it was reminiscent of aspects of those Burnley games where Hearts came out flying out the traps and scored early on, and that was the game over. And then they were able to kind of see it out. And there was a moment in the first half where the ball was getting worked about down there. They seemed to be overly confident, and then Vargas put in a challenge, and there must have been 4 or 5 Hearts bodies. It was between the Gorgie stand and the Wheatfield stand, and the explosion of applause, and it just kind of shows like this is what we want, just aggression, high intensity, and that's exactly what we got.
3 of the biggest noises on the night in the first half were from pressing and
Yeah.
forcing them out of play or winning the ball back, and it was again similar to what we saw on Saturday. And another thing that we saw similar tonight that we saw on Saturday was, because there's been times in games previous to the last two games where Hearts have had good spells. Hearts have started a game well and they've not taken chances, but one of the big differences under Critchley early doors, I know, but in these first two games is they're scoring the first goal, they're scoring in the first half, and they're putting teams on the back foot early on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what changed, the kind of the big change for me from St Mirren to here to Omonia tonight was I actually felt we were more of a threat. I thought Hearts were more of a threat, that Shanklin could have arguably had, I'm saying, definitely two goals. He had definitely two really good chances. Fabiano, Kent should have scored. So we were actually creating. It wasn't just high press and high energy intensity. There were actually there was substance at the end. There was actually an end product. Okay, if we didn't score, there was shots on goals. There was players getting into the box. It was exactly what, just simplify. It was very simplified, but exactly what Hearts fans wanted to see. And it was just encouraging that this is only kind of 2 weeks in. Again, you don't want to get too carried away, but the signs are really, really positive. And the fact that he could have been out of sight more than 2-0 was hugely positive.
Hey, let's talk about the goals. First one from, I don't know, I was going to say an unlikely source. I don't think he's left winger. He should probably be in among the goals and the assists and stuff, but he's not exactly been a prolific goal scorer for Hearts, but it was a really good finish. I mean, that we saw from that save from Shanklin, and we'd known going into this game that their keeper was quite good.
Yeah.
From that angle, it was going to have to take a good finish to beat the keeper. It was on his weaker foot, and he lifted it, and he put it in a spot where the keeper couldn't react quickly enough to keep it out, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about it being a squad game, and Neil Critchley in the build-up said he wanted to see the players. Forrest came off the bench on Saturday, did well, brought some energy, but he is one of the players that, compared to last season, has tailed off massively, and you're wanting him to kick on from last season and be more productive, because I think we've all seen, it's like, you know what you're going to get from Alan Forrest. He is going to give you 100%. You can tell him to, if you want him to do a defensive job, he'll do it. If you want him to do a specific role, he'll do it. But he needs to do more with the ball. He's guilty of of playing with his head down far too much, and it was frustrating last season, even though he had a really good season. But he didn't score enough, he didn't assist enough, and it was you're hoping that after last season's positivity, that he would kick on and add those to it, add more goals to it. And if that's a sign of things to come, it was a really good finish. He was getting into good areas, because there were a few times where the ball was down the right.
His deliveries were good.
His deliveries, yeah, exactly. He put in just at least two very good balls.
Left foot and right foot.
Left foot and right foot, and he was getting in when the balls were inside. He was getting in at the back post and making himself a threat. So yeah, it was a really good first half performance from Forrest, and brilliant finish.
Two other players I thought, before we kind of talk about the second goal, and Blair Spittle, who stood out again. Two players that stood out for me were Malachi Boateng, just winning the ball, and just how good he was at kind of springing forward when they won it and then finding a pass. And as we spoke about at the weekend, him and Benny, okay, they're ball winners, they're good ball winners, but they've got very good technique when they have the ball. Another one was Kai Rills. I know there was a little bit of sort of debate about exactly how well he played on Saturday. There was some that were maybe still thought he was maybe losing out a couple of physical battles. I don't think there's anybody could argue with his performance tonight. I thought he was exceptional.
No, absolutely, and I think you always, especially in the Scottish Premiership, I think you're always going to accept, Kai Rills is probably going to lose a few physical battles, but he brings so many other qualities to the team. Ask Frankie Kent on, when we speak to him on Wednesday, what it's like playing. He said he absolutely loves playing alongside him. He thinks they complement one another. That's what we said they do. And tonight, I just think the European stage suits him so much more, and I think that's where you'll see him become alive and be so much more even better. And I think it's been really encouraging the last few weeks of kind of his, not progression, but just as a wee bit more consistency. We've seen it before he went to the World Cup. It's like, we're going to make a lot of money out of this guy, and we've still got him for so many years. Whereas I think I still look at him and think, if he stays injury free and provides consistency, Hearts will make a good bit of money from him. He is great. He's a modern day defender, who I think could go on to go up a level and not look out of place, because he can defend one-on-one. He's really quick. I think his reading the game is pretty good and getting better. He can come out and he can playing a back three, or he can come out and cover off a full back or a wing back, and he's comfortable there. So yeah, I think he has made himself undroppable, and that's great, having two centre backs you're trusting. You can play them out every game. Perfect.
Blair Spittle, another goal, 3 games in a row now. He's curled in an absolutely beautiful effort. And not just that, but he seems to, he's like sort of got main man energy, doesn't he? Like, yes. He's going about demanding the ball. He's playing where he wants at times. He's also a guy that he's kind of one of the first names on the team sheet, and he'll get moved about in another position rather than getting taken off and that kind of thing. But we spoke about him quite a bit recently. Probably don't need to go into too much depth just now. I hope that we speak about him a lot more over the course of the seaon. But yeah, he got man of the match, the official man of the match in the end.
Yeah, because when I wrote about it, the two standouts I said were Malachi Boateng, which you said, and Blair Spittle. With Spittle, you said it, that he's got main man energy, and I think I called him the talisman when we wrote our piece, and that's what he's doing, because he's coming up with big moments, but also not just the goals, he's driving the team forward. And we were joking about it because we talked about it at the weekend. He just runs about, just going with his hands that he's pointing direct into his feet, just pass me the ball. He's always, even if he's not getting the ball, he's at least moving the opposition to allow someone else to get the ball. I do look at him and think he could, again, don't want to get carried away, but he could become quite a leading figure, because we talked about the I think on one of the videos someone asked about the captaincy and Shanklin taking off, but you just look at Ken and Gordon and Shanklin. I'd put Spittle in that mould as well. He's so experienced and come up with big moments, and I think he wants to take on responsibility. His technique is great, and having someone who can score out of nothing or from distance, taking that pressure off Shanklin. Brilliant. I can't believe I doubted him to begin with.
Well, I think a lot were. Alright guys,
hello,
how we doing?
Come on, Hearts.
Yes,
exactly. Thank you very much. We have to start editing bits out of these.
No, that's fine.
Right, just a couple of things before we finish off. Again, similar to the weekend, if you're going to pick at criticism, lost a bit of control in the second half there.
Yep.
I thought Critchley's words were quite interesting on that, where he said that, I think, not in these words, but he was kind of saying that if he had had more time with the team, they would have worked on a few more different shapes, and he could have maybe switched. He wanted to maybe go to a 4-5-1 to get more control in the midfield, but he thought he'd stick with the same shape because they hadn't worked on it yet, and they changed the personnel within it. And ultimately, there was a couple of hairy moments, but like the St Mirren game, Omonia were more of a threat, yes, but still restricted them. Gordon's, again, he's not really had to make a save, has he?
Yeah, they were. I think we were a wee bit tense towards the end of the first half. We were kind of just wanting to see, when they had a couple of set pieces, Hilander was a threat, just like, right, just see that out to half time. And then they got into good positions, but a lot of it, I think he's correctly said, a lot of it was in front of Hearts. He never really got down the sides or behind, because they've got a couple of quick guys, Willie Semedo as well. I may as well bring Adam Forrester just now. He is 19-year-old and had the best game of his professional career as Hearts first team player. He didn't look out of place, which says a hell of a lot for him, because
100% record in Europe.
100% record in Europe. It says a hell of a lot about him to come into that game against arguably their most dangerous player and put in such a mature performance. I think he kind of tailed off in the second half as Omonia had that pressure, but Critchley was quite quick to make the changes, and while they did have a lot of possession, there was a couple of moments like around the 60-65 minute mark where you're worried, and then once Hearts kind of overcame that, you're kind of quite comfortable, and arguably it was Hearts that might have scored the third goal on the break. I'd say
similar to the weekend as well, that you spoke about the Helander headers just to the end of the first half. I mean, one of them goes in. It's a completely different second half. Yeah. Hearts again, we'd probably get to see that mentality tested. Like, are they still fragile from that poor run? But it's a win, another win, and not only that, but as we were kind of saying before the game, a win now means qualification's very much in Hearts' hands. They've got probably the weakest team yet still to play at home in the final day. I'd like to not have to go to that final day and do it. But 6 points from the first two games, I mean, nobody saw that coming after the start of the season. I mean, nobody saw that coming even if, like, at the start of the season, before we went on that poor run, nobody thought we were going to be in this position.
I know, it's incredible, especially the worst start to a season history. Pretty poor performance, but it was a rubbish game in Azerbaijan against Minsk, and you're kind of just didn't steal it, but it was
win it at all costs at that point. It was just like we needed any win at that point. Yeah.
But now it's honestly, I can't wipe the smile off my face thinking Hearts are going to be in Europe after Christmas for the first time since 88-89 when we played Bayern Munich, and you just think just playing knockout football in February is just incredible. It'd be great to do it with a wee bit of comfort, whether it's getting a big result against Heidenheim here or getting a big away result. I'm just trying to think, when was the last time we got a real big away result? Like Liverpool and Tottenham they're good results, but
there's like second leg dynamics.
Liverpool you ended up going out anyway, and then Tottenham, it was like get beat 5-0. So you're probably going back to, in the first leg, you're probably going back to like Bâle and Braga and Bordeaux. It'd be great to get one of those against Bruges or Copenhagen before Petro Cup. But yeah, we couldn't have asked for a better start, and not just that. 800 grand as well, so you're looking at the money you missed out getting to the Europa League, you're almost making it back up because of the prize money. So it's going back a couple of weeks, what a transformation.
What a wild season so far. We're going to leave it there for now. Please like, share and subscribe, and check out everything at heartstandard.co.uk. There's plenty of analysis from this game, and there'll be more going up over the next few days.
And do check out the Valdas Dambrausis comments, because the Omonia manager is just a big Hearts fan. It's brilliant.
He's getting his Hearts book signed by the author Tony Brown after the game and stuff. Yeah, it's just going. Joe was saying he was going about just touching things.
No, yesterday in the pre-match press conference, we got speaking to him after the press conference. He gave us a wee bit more, and he was just going around. It's just like, I just want to touch everything. I just can't believe I'm here. And he was listing off. He was not just like he wasn't just listing off like Miko, Chesney, Tynecastle. He was like Kisanevicius, Velichka, Pilibaitis, etc. So he just seems like a massive gamble.
He's about 10 years too late for a job here. But yeah, anyway, thanks again, and we'll speak to you all soon.